Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I've been absent in my videos because I had a little technical difficulties. Pretty much my iPad is overfilled with data, and I've been having a hard time processing the video. So I figure I'd get something up to let everybody know what's going on. I pretty much have one more build video coming. I have it all done. Like I said, I ran out of space and I can't process it on my iPad. So I'm looking at transferring everything over to a little laptop so that I can do a little bit better job of getting these things edited. The last build video that is going to come up, it's just going to have some of the rigging. I didn't film a whole lot of it. It was kind of boring stuff, but finishing out the rigging, a little bit about how I painted it, and the HydroTurf finish that I put on there. So that will be the final build video of the Skookum 13 RS Racecraft kit. As I'm filming this right now, I am headed over with the boat in tow to my good buddy Kirk, who helps me out with the race boat all the time, and he is going to clean up my wiring harness. You'll see the spaghetti mess that I made out of it on that last. There's a cop sitting in the median. Well, this will be interesting if I get pulled over on YouTube. Anyway, so he is helping me out clean up that wiring harness, and I'm dropping it off at his place in 9 Mile Falls in Spokane area, and then I'm going to continuing over to RS Racecraft again to pick up. Okay, he didn't pull out. To pick up kit number 2. So that's my segue into kind of my review on this kit, the overall impression, and my first, what I have 3 days driving that boat. Like I said, this is my first Mini. I know that there's a lot of manufacturers out there, so my intent is not to say, hey, this one's way better than everybody else's, because I don't know. I haven't driven or built the other ones. What I can speak to, though, is what this kit, the overall build experience, as well as the driving of it. So the overall kit itself went together very well. Everything seemed to fit perfectly. I had no issues with that. I am still, my intent with when I'm going to hang out over there tomorrow when I pick up the new kit is to maybe go through their instructions a little bit with them and point out a few things and kind of clarify a few things that I may have done out of order or whatever. It all went together fine. Like I said, though, the machining or the press brake and the CNC cut files were all spot on. I didn't have a single problem with that. That was pretty sweet. The 3-piece bottom, I think that when you're comparing to some of the other manufacturers, they're all single-piece bottom. That's probably maybe an extra day's work, but I tell you what, after already hitting a few times, I'm glad I have that 3/8 keel. I literally go drive around the river looking for stuff to hit, because that thing is, it's a beast. The 3/8 plate and the 3/8 UHMW. I love that. That's exactly what I need, because I know how I drive a boat, especially a jet boat like that. So I'm not saying it's any better. That 3-piece bottom was a little extra work, but at the same time, I'm digging the 3/8 bottom. So the overall buildability of it and everything, I will say this: I've had a couple people asking, "Hey, I've really never welded before. I've never really fabricated before, anything like that. What do you think?" I'm like, like starting out, if you've never welded before, I personally would not turn my MIG gun loose on a $5,000, $6,000 kit. You could destroy it, and you're going to burn through. You could do a lot of damage. If you're a first-time welder, you got to practice on something other than a $5,000 boat. So at least until, I'm not saying that if you're a low experience welder that you couldn't do it. By all means, you can. But that's a pretty expensive way to learn how to weld on a kit already done like that. So I'm not discouraging anybody from doing it, but I would definitely practice, especially with your welder, with a lot of pieces of scrap metal to weld them different thicknesses. One thing, if you get a little 6-inch piece of test material, as soon as you get some weld going on that thing is hot. You're already getting those two materials warmed up, so you're going to get a much different weld than if you're welding a 10-foot section of that same thickness. So just take that into consideration when you're doing those test welds. The other thing, if you have very little to no fabrication, that's just kind of like assembling the kit and kind of understanding how the metal works and all that stuff. Again, it's doable, but get some help. I would say. I don't know. That's a big another big endeavor to make, and it'd be so easy to make a mistake that you end up cutting all your tacks off and starting over. And I could see some frustration there. I'm not saying don't build a kit. I'm just saying if you've got zero experience on either, that would be a big undertaking. I would think. Like I said, this boat I just built right now is my 11th boat, so I'm experienced, but I'm no pro. So I'll just throw that out there. And I've noticed too that there's a lot of people and businesses or whatever that are buying all these kits from all the different manufacturers, building them and doing their own kind of sweat equity, kind of like what I'm doing. I'm just doing this part-time for a month or two. There's definitely other options to get a welded hull and then just finish it out yourself. So that's my take overall on the kit. So onto the drivability of the thing. This was a Kawasaki 2-stroke 1100 motor. I want to say I googled it, and it says that those have 120 horsepower. And I wasn't like waiting for it to blow my hair back or whatever, which I don't have a lot of hair. But I didn't know what to expect with that much power or that little of power. But I will tell you, I was very pleasantly surprised at the whole shot of that motorboat combo. As well, I haven't really recorded the top speed. I've been going kind of easy on the engine. I've been running it extra rich, mixture-wise anyway, with the oil and gas, because it's been sitting for quite a while, and I wanted to, kind of let the motor re-brake itself in, get those bearings lubricated and all that kind of stuff with the richer oil fuel mixture. So, like I said, I was very surprised and impressed with the whole shot, and I had two full-size adults in there and 20 plus gallons of gas, and the boat did just fine. I will say, with my background in driving sprint boats, man, we got a much deeper dead rise. It's my sprint boats are, I'll just guesstimate, I'm not going to tell my trade secrets, 23 degrees. Let's just say 23 degrees dead rise. These boats are 15 degrees, so that's a big difference right there in the dead rise. And the other thing is, we have on our race boats 5 strakes per side and 1,200 horsepower. So all those things combined is what make those sprint boats turn so incredibly hard. I've experienced over 6 to 7 G's, lateral G's, in a turn from this. Getting kind of dark in here. 6 to 7 lateral G's in a turn in a sprint boat. So going into these things, and I've driven jet sleds with outboard jets on them before, and I know how those slide, especially because those really don't have a dead rise, maybe 1-2 degrees, and they slide so much. But there's also a purpose to that. When you're kind of coming down a river with a current and you got to kind of put your bow over some gravel to keep your motor in the deep part of the channel, I understand that. But I didn't know going into driving this thing for the first time what to expect. I knew it wasn't going to be a sprint boat, but I also didn't know if it was going to slide as much as one of those jet sleds. The answer is, again, I was very pleasantly surprised with how this boat turned. If you needed to let off and kind of lay it over on its side to slide it a little bit, you could absolutely do that. But with the power and the reverse chine on there, if you needed it to turn, it would turn. I really like that. There was a couple times I'd be going up essentially a dead end channel, and I'm like, nope, this isn't looking good. And I'd be able to spin a 180, not spin, but do a turn, a complete 180, staying on step the whole time in a pretty narrow channel. So the boat will absolutely turn. I like that. I think that it overall has a good driving characteristics with that, for sure. I've seen some boats that have, not many of these minis have a lot of strakes on them, but when you put the UHNW on there, what it kind of looks like to me, like the UHNW would almost negate the effects of having that strake on there. So I think that also, if you run the UHMW all the way out to the chine, that chine helps you turn as well. It digs in when you're going around a corner. That chine kind of, that reverse angle digs down and helps it grab, kind of like one of those big fins on a hydroplane, but obviously not that big or exaggerated, but you get my point. So if you run UHMW all the way out to the side, or even cover that chine, you're going to lose some of that turning capability. So I think that I am trying to go off memory here. I think the RS Racecraft, they offer two essentially widths of UHMW. One is just the keel strip, and the other one's like essentially like a 2/3 or 3/4 coverage. That's what my boat had. And I think that where that terminates, it gives the water plenty enough space between the edge of the UHMW and that reverse chine to grab and make it fun and a responsive boat to drive. So that is my overall take on the boat. Something else I put on Facebook yesterday is I lifted the boat up on my hoist scale. I hung myself off of it because I've never used it before, just a little cheap scale I bought off of Amazon, and with no fuel in it, but everything else in the boat, the seats, the seat boxes, the engine, all the rigging, everything, the engine cover, everything on there, minus the fuel, came in at 871 pounds with that Kawasaki 1100 in there. I think that's right around where I was expecting it to come in at. But what I will also say is when you beach the boat or you get stuck or whatever and you jump out, I was very, very surprised, or pleasantly surprised again, at how easily the boat floated with nobody in it, as well as I think it's, combo of how it's floating with that lighter weight two-stroke in there, as well as the UHMW. That thing was so easy to kind of just push around on rocks and gravel and all that kind of stuff. So that was another very pleasant surprise. So with all that being said, I'm driving over to grab kit number 2. So if that's not proof enough that I was happy with the kit, I threw out on one of my video uploads that hey, who wants to see me build another kit? And the reason I'm not doing that, it's not, I think we have 150 followers so far. It's not like I have 10,000 followers on YouTube or anything like that. So I just don't have the base to warrant to go to do that. I want to build another one of these kits. In fact, I'm going to build 2 more. One of these I'm going to keep myself. So these next 2 ones are going to be Yamaha SHO from those donors that I posted a while back. They're 2010 Yamaha SHOs with about 67, 68 hours-ish on both of those. So pretty excited about having a little extra power, but then again, you're going to get the extra weight with it. So we'll be interested to see. Anyway, I just wanted to get a video out there to kind of update everybody on what's going on and why I haven't posted anything for a while. It's technical difficulties, essentially ran out of data. So I will get that fixed and get that last build video put up. In the meantime, have a great day. Have a great, what day is it? Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. That's right, I'm going to have Taco Tuesday in Missoula with my buddy. So over and out, take care, and we'll keep you updated. Thanks for watching.